The 99th silent treatment. For the first time ever, my girlfriend actually talked to me, not because she missed me, but because she was going on a month-long business trip with her boy toy, and figured she should give me a heads up. But this time, I didn't have the strength to argue with her. I just made breakfast and watched her leave. She looked at me like I was some helpless kitten. "Benja, you're being so good today. How about this? When I come back, I'll say yes to your proposal." Okay. But what she didn't realize was that people who are truly determined to leave don't scream and fight. A month later, she came home from her trip and found the apartment completely empty. That's when she finally panicked. Chapter 1. You don't have to make breakfast for me today. I'm in a rush. While I was cooking, my girlfriend Luciana suddenly walked up beside me and rested her head lightly on my shoulder. The soft scent of her hair drifted into my nose. I frowned slightly, but the feelings that used to stir in me weren't there anymore. Funny thing is, I should have been thrilled. This was the first time she'd ever made the first move to break our Cold War. But before I could say anything, she spoke first. Her tone wasn't asking, it was informing. "I'm going on a business trip later. I won't be back for a month." She paused, her eyes flickering like there was more she wanted to say. I kept my focus on the bacon in the pan, debating whether to slice it in half. Got it. She looked surprised by my response. After a long moment, she finally spoke again. "Bruno's coming with me." I ended up cutting the bacon right down the middle. The blade hit the cutting board, and the anxiety in my chest finally dropped with it. What a joke. I wanted to slap myself. I still had hope. Makes sense. He's your assistant. He should go. When did it all start? Out of our many Cold Wars, 9 out of 10 were because of Bruno. Bruno was Luciana's assistant, a fresh college graduate, lively, full of energy, and knew how to sweet-talk her until she lost her sense of direction. Honestly, the guy was useless at his job, but Luciana said he was young, ambitious, cheerful, generous, and because of that, she took extra care of him. Too much care. She crossed boundaries. It made me insanely jealous. This Cold War started because I had been working overtime and suddenly felt intense, suffocating pain. Cold sweat poured down my face. I couldn't even sit straight and collapsed on the floor. At that exact moment, Luciana walked by me, completely ignoring me, just to take Bruno out to some trendy restaurant she'd seen online. Maybe that's when it began, when my heart stopped reacting like it used to. My emotions had become steady. Just like now, her brief show of tenderness was nothing but a one-sided update. And inside, I felt nothing. Luciana seemed surprised that I didn't pick a fight when she mentioned Bruno today. In the past, I didn't even need to see them together. Just hearing his name from her mouth was enough to ignite my jealousy. She stood on tiptoe and lightly kissed my cheek, then smiled and said, "Benja, don't worry. After this trip, Bruno should be able to handle things on his own. I'll make sure he gets more independent from now on. That way I'll have more time for you." I hadn't planned on making breakfast for Luciana today. Just one serving in one pan, less dishes to clean. She sat across from me, watching me eat. Afterward, she even offered to do the dishes. She'd never touched them before, and I'd always let her off the hook. Dish soap is harsh on the hands. It's fine for a girl to take care of herself. But this time, I didn't say anything. Just watched her tie on the apron. She seemed to notice something, and turned to smile at me. "What? Thinking the kitchen's not such a bad place? We can do something in here too, just wait till I get back from the trip." She smiled so brightly, as if we had never fought before. Her suggestive words sounded like sweet nothings shared between a loving couple. But all I could think was, what does that even mean? Forget it. It has nothing to do with me anymore. I knew exactly what this was. Just Luciana's guilty attempt to make up for her own conscience. Before she could even start doing the dishes, the doorbell rang. Luciana immediately left the kitchen and headed for the front door. As soon as it opened, her voice lit up with excitement. "Bruno, why are you here so early?" I sneered inwardly the second the bell rang. She ran out of the kitchen, passing right by me, to answer the door. Wasn't she just waiting for Bruno to show up and pick her up? Bruno stood there at the entryway, looking a bit awkward as he explained. "Luciana, I came to take you out for breakfast. Airport food's expensive and gross. I know a really good place on the way." He paused, his gaze landing on Luciana's apron, then at me, leaning on the dining table. "Oh hey, Benjamin bro, you're here too." Was Luciana doing the dishes? "Let me help. Girls should take care of their hands, right?" He was young, full of energy, practically radiating hormones like some innocent college boy in love. Luciana, naturally, was completely smitten, grinning so wide her cheeks could barely keep up. She probably hadn't even realized it herself, but the way she looked at Bruno, it wasn't the look of a boss admiring her employee. She untied her apron, set it down on the shoe cabinet by the door, and reached for her suitcase. "It's okay. Benja will wash them." "Can't have you doing it." I remained silent, just smiling faintly as I watched them. I didn't move an inch. Bruno seemed puzzled, scanning me from head to toe. "Did you make breakfast for Luciana, Benjamin?" Maybe I came too early. He sounded careful, like he was walking on eggshells. Disappointment was written all over his face. Luciana quickly replied, "No, that was for him. I haven't eaten yet, I was waiting for you." Ah. Bruno's eyes lit up. Then, shyly, he added, "But, that was Benjamin's plate." Luciana changed her shoes and set her suitcase in front of Bruno. Then she finally turned to look at me. "I'm heading out. You've been such a good boy today, Benja. When I get back, let's go register our marriage." "Okay." She blew me a kiss, then closed the door behind her. I pulled a cigarette from my pocket, lit it, and went back into the kitchen to wash the dishes. Luciana and I had been together for 10 years, from college until now. During that time, I had proposed to her countless times. No matter how carefully I planned the setting, or how heartfelt my words were, she always said she wasn't ready, that she didn't want to get married yet, or she just ignored me, or outright rejected me. And now, just to stop me from arguing with her over Bruno, she was willing to toss out a fake promise of marriage to pacify me. I shook my head and muttered to myself, "Not okay. Not even close to okay." A bitter smile played at my lips. I wouldn't propose to her again. That would probably be a relief for her. There wouldn't be any more fights either. After cleaning up the kitchen, I sat on the couch and stared at the message on my phone, my thoughts running wild. Have you decided on switching jobs yet? On one hand, there was the plane ticket I'd booked 2 weeks ago. On the other, a message from a major company's HR. Countless memories flashed through my mind, then froze on the image of Luciana and Bruno together. Should I cancel the flight? Should I quit? In the end, I replied to the message, packed my things, and walked out of the apartment I had shared with Luciana for 7 years, without looking back. Chapter 2. I stayed in the capital for Luciana. She and I were worlds apart. She was a rich heiress, while I was just an ordinary guy trying to survive in the city. To stand beside her, I worked day and night, doing relentless overtime, to the point I nearly dropped dead at my desk. I remember the moment clearly. I couldn't even hold myself up on the chair. I collapsed hard on the floor. Everyone in the office rushed over. Even the colleagues from the rival team I never got along with. No one stood by idly. Some directed the crowd to give space. Someone called 120. Others laid me flat on the floor, asking if I was conscious. Only Luciana walked briskly past me, keys in hand, beaming with joy. After being rescued and stabilized at the hospital, the first person I saw was the rival team's lead, and several of my teammates, running around paying the bills and communicating with doctors. When I finally got my phone back, the first thing I wanted to do was text Luciana, but what I saw instead was a social media post from Bruno. A full 9-square collage of photos, him in the passenger seat throwing a heart sign, Luciana in the driver's seat smiling ear to ear. Every photo was a couple-style selfie. Caption: late night cravings after work. Boss took me to a trendy hot spot. Foodie life is amazing. My boss is the best in the world. Lying on that hospital bed, I felt like I'd been dunked in freezing water. My whole body trembled. I messaged Luciana asking where she was. She didn't reply until 11 p.m. She told me she was entertaining clients over dinner earlier, and now she was at KTV. Told me not to nag her. Told me to stop checking up on her for no reason. That she already had to waste her precious time dealing with my paranoia. Said if a client saw my messages, it'd be embarrassing. I was discharged a week later. That night, we had a huge fight. Mostly me doing the talking, venting everything I had bottled up. She hadn't even known I'd been in the hospital for a week. In the end, she just said one sentence: "You still have the energy to argue with me, so clearly you're fine." At that moment, I realized no amount of words meant anything anymore. Our 10 years together meant nothing anymore. From that day on, we went into a cold war. She ignored me completely, like we were strangers. She stopped eating the breakfast I made, stopped sleeping in the same room, stopped speaking to me. This was her usual tactic. 10 years of love, now we were nothing more than 2 roommates, not even acquaintances. The business trip with Bruno wasn't even the final straw. Truth is, our relationship ended the moment she said, "You're still alive, aren't you?" 10 years of love, over. Just like that. I packed my bags and went alone to the office to formally resign. But I didn't expect to run into Luciana and Bruno, the 2 people who were supposed to be at the airport. By the printer, Bruno was clinging to Luciana's arm, playfully acting coy. "Sorry, Luciana, it's all my fault. I was so excited about our breakfast plans. I barely slept and totally forgot to print the contract. Delayed you again." Luciana let him cling to her left arm, and with her right hand, gently pinched his cheek. Her tone was soft. "It's fine. It's a small thing. Am I the kind of cold, heartless boss who'd make a fuss over that?" As she spoke, her eyes drifted toward the door, and caught sight of me standing there. Her smile froze for just a moment, then she looked at her watch, frowned, and said with irritation, "Benjamin, you're just getting here. It's already an hour past clock-in. According to company policy, being over an hour late is considered skipping work." You're too casual with your responsibilities. No wonder the other employees talk about you like they do. Even though I had already given up on this relationship, hearing Luciana talk to me like that still sparked a fire in my chest. At work, she was always known for being decisive and strict. She treated all employees harshly, but with me, she was especially harsh. I once suggested going public with our relationship, but she shot it down, said office romance didn't look good. That as the boss, she had to set an example. And so, in the eyes of our colleagues, her harshness toward me just looked like pure dislike. Naturally, some coworkers, trying to curry favor with her, made life harder for me. When I told Luciana about it, she just scoffed. Instead of showing concern, she told me to self-reflect. Maybe I wasn't nice enough to my coworkers. Maybe I just didn't have the skills or the results to win people over. In her eyes, all my grievances were just excuses. Later on, she even sent a message in the company group chat, asking everyone to speak and act professionally and maintain a positive working environment. That message didn't improve anything. In fact, it made the way people looked at me even weirder. Back then, I was actually touched. I thought she was standing up for me, that the reason she was so hard on me was because I was special to her. Looking back now, wasn't that just emotional manipulation? She isolated me from my colleagues, and then threw me a smile, so I'd stay loyal like a dog with nowhere else to go. I took a deep breath and pulled out the resignation letter I'd prepared long ago, handing it to Luciana. I'm resigning. Luciana. Luciana froze, a confused expression on her face. Bruno quickly chimed in from beside her. Luciana, it's probably because Benjamin's worried about you. Wasn't he already jealous last time, just because you took me to that trendy restaurant? He looked at me with a glint of provocation in his eyes, lips curled upward in a slow smirk, like he was claiming his territory. Benjamin, seriously, the trip with Luciana is strictly business. That restaurant last time, a client liked it, so we had to go to keep them happy. Hearing that, Luciana's expression turned ice cold, her tone impatient. Benjamin, stop wasting my time with this nonsense. We just talked this morning. I'm going on a month-long trip, and once I'm back, I said I'd accept your proposal. You're not a kid anymore. Can you stop acting like one of those romance novel leads playing hard to get? Instead of pulling stunts like this, how about focusing on your performance? I just looked at her calmly, thinking to myself, honestly, I didn't need to hand her the resignation letter directly. She just happened to be right in front of me, so I handed it over. Looks like I still have to go through HR. After all, I'm just a regular employee. No need to go above protocol just to get the boss's signature. Bruno's eyes darted around as he tugged at Luciana's sleeve and said, Luciana, I think I get it now. Didn't Benjamin ask for a raise 3 months ago? Maybe this is about that. Then he turned to me. Benjamin, I'll talk to Luciana for you. Okay, next time for sure. Just don't threaten her with stuff like this. She's already under a lot of pressure. With just a few lines, Bruno pinned the blame on me and managed to sweet-talk Luciana into a good mood. Suddenly, I felt dazed. It hit me. I hadn't talked to Luciana like this in what felt like forever. That was probably when it all started. When my heart gave up, and I didn't even notice. Luciana's tightly knit brows finally relaxed as she snapped. So this whole scene this morning was about a raise. Fine. When I get back, I'll give you a raise. Happy now? The two of them were completely in sync, like a well-rehearsed routine, with my abilities. After so many years in this company, I should have been promoted long ago. Forget team lead, I could have been a project manager, even head of a department. But what did Luciana say? She said we needed to give hope to new employees, that they needed to see growth and opportunity, that we couldn't crush the spirits of the younger staff. So of course, I was excluded. All those years, and I was still just a regular employee. Realizing all of this, I couldn't help but laugh at how ridiculous I'd been. Seeing that I didn't respond, Luciana handed the contract to Bruno and gave my resignation letter, still held midair, a quick glance, full of disdain. Put that away. Don't bother me with this crap. Besides the raise, I'll promote you too. Is that enough? I'll tell HR today doesn't count as an absence. Go back to your desk and get to work. With that, she left the office with Bruno. I stood there in place, looking down at the resignation letter in my hand. I couldn't help but shake my head. Then I turned and walked straight to the HR department. I handed in the letter, and it was quickly approved. After all, in their eyes, I was just a senior employee with nothing special about me. Someone my age. Give it another couple years and the company would have found some excuse to lay me off anyway. Once I made peace with that, I packed up my things quickly and began my journey back home. Chapter 3. 3 days after returning to my hometown, I got a job at a local e-commerce warehouse. The pay wasn't great, but it was easy. As a seasoned programmer, this kind of job was almost laughably simple for me. Life back home was much slower paced, and workdays were relaxed. On weekends, I had time to take long walks or go for a run. Sometimes, I'd even make time for fishing, setting out at 4 or 5 in the morning and spending the whole day by the water with fellow anglers. Every now and then, I'd check social media. Bruno posted constantly. His feed was practically one-man spam. Photos of him and Luciana eating, drinking, playing, sightseeing at popular tourist spots. It didn't look like a business trip, it looked like a honeymoon. Anyone who didn't know them would have thought they were newlyweds. In every photo, Luciana looked genuinely happy. Nothing about them suggested a boss-subordinate relationship. Her smile never left her face. She posed perfectly with Bruno, even doing coordinated heart-shape poses across 9 square photo grids, multiple sets of them. Not to mention the short-form dance challenge videos. In one comment, Bruno even wrote, "Too many people at these trendy spots. If it weren't for my gorgeous, sweet, and amazing boss, I wouldn't bother squeezing through crowds. Next time, let's do a road trip through the grasslands." Luciana replied below, "Sure. Next time I'll take you to the grasslands, horseback riding, lamb barbecue, the works." I chuckled bitterly to myself. The kind of tiresome travel Bruno was pretending to dislike had once been my dream. All these years, Luciana and I had never once gone on a vacation together, never even taken a casual trip like a normal couple. She always said she hated traveling, and that I was too frivolous, always thinking about fun instead of ambition. But now, the same Luciana who claimed to hate travel was going everywhere with Bruno, enjoying every moment. She never hated traveling, she just didn't want to do it with me. In the comments, I saw several familiar colleagues joking about whether wedding bells were around the corner for them. Some others made veiled, sarcastic remarks, all directed at me. Where's Benjamin now? Why isn't he here to drop some passive-aggressive wisdom? In the whole company, only Bruno had known about my relationship with Luciana. Back then, whenever I caught coworkers gossiping about Bruno and Luciana, I'd always tell them to stop. Even when Bruno posted photos with her, I'd jump into the comments with bitter sarcasm. Over time, everyone saw me as a bitter, twisted, single old man, jealous, angry at the world, incapable of finding a girlfriend. So he dragged others down instead. Luciana even picked a fight with me once over this, warning me to stop being sarcastic under Bruno's posts. Looking back now, I was honestly just stupid and blind. Bruno's every post was designed to show off, to provoke me, but without Luciana's permission and indulgence, he wouldn't have dared be so bold, so shameless. At some point, Luciana began letting Bruno step into every corner of her life, and my 10 years with her were nothing more than a badly written drama that had finally come to its pitiful end. In the days that followed, I kept seeing Bruno and Luciana sharing beautiful scenery, delicious meals, and constant couple-style updates like they were freshly in love, and gradually, my heart grew still, no longer reacting. One day, I pulled in an 18-pound whitebait from the water. The nearby anglers looked over in admiration. It wasn't the biggest catch, but at least it wasn't a wasted trip. I instinctively snapped a photo, but I didn't open Luciana's chat right away. Instead, I posted it to my feed, captioned, "How did you guys know I just caught an 18-pound whitebait?" Over the past few days, I'd made quite a few fishing buddies, might as well show off a little, let them see what I could do. Who says anglers never catch anything? I slipped the bass into the net basket and got back to fishing mode. My phone buzzed, probably one of the fishing crew asking about the catch, but when I pulled it out, what I saw was a message. "Luciana, Benja, don't forget to water my hydrangeas and bring the succulents inside, don't let them get too much sun. I still need them for the wedding room." I froze for a second, then tapped over to check the date. By the timeline, her trip should have ended a week ago, which meant, after more than a month, she still didn't know I had moved out. She didn't even know I had quit the company. I didn't reply, just put the phone back in my pocket and kept my eyes on the water. 5 minutes later, when I still didn't respond, she sent another message, like she was tossing me a bone. "Thanks for holding down the fort. Turns out I have to stay a few extra days. Once I'm back, you pick a day for the marriage certificate. Love you." What a joke. Every time she mentioned marriage, she'd tag on an "I love you," like some spell that had never failed her before. I still didn't reply, just put the phone away again and kept fishing. Before I knew it, more than 2 weeks had passed. That made it nearly 2 months now. I was still by the lake when another notification popped up. "Ruining the peace. Just landed. Come pick me up." I could practically hear Luciana's entitled tone just from reading the message. I rolled my eyes and actually laughed. Yeah, when people are too stunned to speak, they really do laugh. Ridiculous. Ruining my fishing mood, I immediately deleted her from my contacts. I thought that would be the end of it. But then Bruno called me, straight up voice call. I declined. He called again. I declined again, and blocked him. 2 seconds later, another call came through, new number. Alright, fine. I blocked that too, and while I was at it, I blocked Luciana's number as well. Just when I finally let out a relieved sigh, My phone flashed a notification from the spam filter, one blocked message. Out of habit, I tapped in. It was from Luciana's number. Wow, Benjamin, acting all tough now. If you've got guts, don't ever come back. I burst out laughing. Go back. Back to what? Cleaning that dusty place. No one had lived there in 2 months, it was probably thick with grime. After all that, my mood improved immediately. Even my fish net was full again. It was another envy-inducing day among the fishing crew. Around noon, the sun got intense, so a few of us agreed to hit a local farm-style restaurant for lunch. As I packed up my gear and was about to get in the car, my phone lit up with a call from a capital city number. I figured it was HR again. They'd contacted me a few times after I resigned, but I'd politely declined. Eventually, the company owner had proposed outsourcing some tasks, needed my help with some tech issues. I didn't mind the side gigs, so I answered instinctively, but instead of HR, a trembling voice came through. Luciana's voice, on the verge of tears. Benja, where are you? Why did you leave? Didn't you say you'd stay with me forever? Chapter 4. I was speechless for a moment, totally let my guard down. The boss from the capital sometimes used other numbers to contact me, and I didn't even think twice this time. Benja, you quit your job. You even moved all your stuff out of the house. Where are you now? Her voice was rushed. Was she actually anxious? Unbelievable. Looking back, I'd handed over all my work properly. No loose ends. Over the past 2 months, no one from the company had contacted me for anything, so this wasn't about work. She was panicking because I left. As soon as the thought crossed my mind, I dismissed it outright. Impossible. Ben, what are you drinking? Old Sue and the guys are going for some baijiu this afternoon. After that, let's try our luck at the Peta Fish Pond. Herbal tea. I replied casually to my fishing buddy. Luciana's voice returned through the phone. A pay pond. You're fishing. MHM. Where? That reservoir. Or another one. Yeah, that one. I answered vaguely. Luciana's tone instantly softened. Then I'll come pick you up. Let's talk. Properly. Tisk. The fish in my bucket were still flopping with energy. I was trying to grab a white base to hand off for cleaning, but the fish were especially feisty today, and with one hand on the phone, I started to feel seriously annoyed. Silence came from the other end of the line, then suddenly Luciana burst out, half angry, half hurt. Benjamin, what the hell are you so annoyed about? I'm actually trying to care about you, and this is how you act. I told you clearly before I left, I'd marry you when I got back. Then you disappeared. I didn't even get to ask you what happened. And now you're the one giving me attitude. With this kind of attitude, just forget the proposal. I'm not marrying you. I was done. She had to be crazy, right? I'd already cleared out the place, cleaned it up before I left. She should have been thrilled. I moved out, quit the job, went back to my hometown. She could now be with Bruno openly and proudly. I was trying to wrestle a fish out of the tank with one hand, holding the phone with the other, while listening to Luciana go off on a full-blown rant in my ear. Suddenly, a loud crash came through the phone, metal clanging, glass breaking. It made my ear sting. TCH, yeah, I hear you. I'm busy. Hanging up now. I was officially out of patience. Whatever storm Luciana was throwing, I didn't care anymore. I ended the call mid-scream. I could still hear her shouting in disbelief as I cut the line. Benjamin, what did you say? Say that again. Ben. Click. Silence. Peace at last. I finished lunch with the guys, then we switched to a different pond for the afternoon session. By the time I got home, it was 9:30 at night. I ordered fried chicken, grilled skewers, and beer for delivery, sorted out the day's catch, planning to bring some over to my parents tomorrow. Then my phone rang. I figured it was the delivery guy. Damn, that was fast. But the second I answered, I was hit by Bruno's obnoxious voice, practically yelling into the mic at me like a lunatic. Benjamin, are you even human? What kind of boyfriend are you? You made Lulu cry. Do you even realize that? You lied to her about fishing, and she went looking for you everywhere, searched every spot you usually go to. She almost fell into the pond. If I hadn't been there, she could have been in real danger. Oh, we're calling her Lulu now. No more full names. Huh. 2 months of travel and the feelings really blossomed, didn't they? Give it another month, and I'll probably be getting a wedding invitation in the mail. But honestly, I couldn't even be mad. I just found it hilarious, and I laughed. Genuinely laughed. Luciana went looking for me. She fell into the water trying to find me. I understood every word Bruno said, but strung together, it made absolutely no sense. I laughed and asked sarcastically. She went looking for me. Come on, Bruno. Don't make things up. You expect me to believe that? Chapter 5. I'd lost count of how many times Luciana had stood me up. It was like the boy who cried wolf. Over and over again. She snatched the phone away and snapped. Benjamin, I looked everywhere for you, and now you're accusing me. I let out another impatient TSK. There you go again with that sound. Just how sick of me are you? I took a deep breath and asked calmly, like it was the most obvious thing in the world. Our 10-year anniversary, you said we'd watch the sunrise by the sea, but you went to a hot spring with Bruno instead. When I called, you said maybe next time. Valentine's Day, you promised dinner. I waited until the restaurant closed, and you were still watching a movie with Bruno. The holiday weekend, you said we'd visit the old town together, but you went to help Bruno move. My birthday, you said you'd cook longevity noodles for me, but Bruno had a fever, and you spent the whole night taking care of him at the hospital. Luciana, you're really telling me you came looking for me? Come on, don't feed me the same old lies, it's getting stale. Even if you told me you were hospitalized, I wouldn't believe it. Why would you need me when you have Bruno? I said it all very calmly. There was nothing on the other end of the call, just silence. In the past, thinking of these things would have made my eyes sting and my nose burn. Now, I felt nothing, like I was reciting a scene from some awful, overdone drama. After a long pause, she let out a cold laugh. So this is what it's about. You're throwing all this old crap at me now. Doing some emotional push and pull like in those cringy romance novels. Trying to get my attention. Well, congrats. It worked. But let's be real, this is just because you're jealous Bruno came with me on the business trip, isn't it? He's my assistant. It's literally his job to come with me. How many times have I explained this to you, but you never believe me? You'd rather live in your delusions, making wild accusations. Do you even understand human language? I pinched the bridge of my nose, fed up. Who doesn't understand human language here? I thought adults didn't need to spell things out. I moved out and quit my job, isn't that clear enough? So let's make it official. Luciana, we're done. Please stop bothering me. A proper ex should act like they're dead. With that, I hung up, then blocked her number. The next day, just as I walked into the company, Lisa from HR quickly made her way toward me. A few coworkers nearby looked at me with sympathy in their eyes. Lisa was the daughter of the boss and also handled HR matters. She looked like she wanted to say something but hesitated. After a brief pause, she finally said, Benja, are you in the middle of some arbitration with your previous employer? I was stunned. Arbitration? That's ridiculous. Seeing the confusion on my face, Lisa sighed and glanced toward the office before explaining. Benja, your previous company, sigh, you didn't pass your probation period. The reason given, you're not suitable for the position. I turned to look into the office. Through the glass window, I saw a familiar figure, Luciana. Instantly, a wave of anger surged in my chest. I was just about to complete my probation, and now she'd sabotaged it. Got it, I said flatly. I'll pack my things. I returned to my desk and began packing. Behind me, Lisa and a few coworkers watched with regret in their eyes. Such a shame. Benja's been amazing with him around. There's no bug we couldn't fix. Yeah, he even helped me build my computer from scratch. Halfway through packing, Luciana and Bruno strolled out of the office like they were on a casual date. Boss Wang caught sight of them and walked over, his face serious but his eyes still full of regret. Benja, I'm sure HR has informed you. You're being let go. Apparently you're not a good fit for the position. Your probation salary will be paid out in full. Luciana, dressed in sharp office attire, gave a satisfied nod and a faint smile. President Wang, you did the right thing listening to me. Benjamin lacks the skill. Keeping him here would only hold back your company's growth. Bruno chimed in like a trained parrot. Exactly, President Wang. Partnering with us was definitely a wise decision. My face turned cold. Rage flaring, I turned to Luciana and asked bluntly. Luciana, what the hell is this supposed to mean? Luciana looked smug, arching her brow with a victorious grin. Benjamin, you thought you could just quit and sneak off to work here? You think I wouldn't find you? My request is simple, come home with me. Stop this nonsense. Otherwise, I'll blacklist you in the industry. You won't be able to get a job anywhere. The look on her face screamed entitlement, like she already owned the outcome. That only stirred my defiance. And suddenly, I remembered something. Blacklist me. That reminded me of the job offer I'd gotten recently. I hadn't done anything wrong, but the company had suddenly gone cold. Wouldn't surprise me if they were just doing Luciana a favor. I let out a cold laugh and said slowly, Luciana, we broke up over 2 months ago. Don't you ever get tired? Then I turned to Bruno. And you, Bruno, 2 whole months of business trips with Luciana, and she still hasn't made it official with you. It's been over a year now. I even gave up my spot for you, and you still haven't moved up. Maybe the problem is that you just don't have what it takes. Chapter 6. Luciana instantly lost it. She raised her hand to slap me. I took a step back, dodging it easily. Then I picked up my bag, turned around, and walked away. Couldn't be bothered to waste another word on her. The people around us stared wide-eyed, and soon they were whispering and pointing at Luciana and Bruno. In the 2 months I'd been here, I'd built great relationships with my coworkers. After hearing what I said, They were all quietly murmuring, "Damn, so that's the ex he was with for 10 years. Whoa, so she cheated. No wonder he never explained much. Just said it was an amicable breakup. Tisk, I knew it. Poor Benja, totally got played." After leaving the company, I loaded my stuff onto my little electric scooter and was just about to start it up when my phone rang again. I was ready to decline it without thinking, but when I saw the caller ID, Diana Mu, from Volcano Electronics Information, I quickly answered. After a short conversation, Chairwoman Mu asked, "Benjamin, I really believe in your potential. Are you sure you're not coming to work for us?" I gave a bitter laugh. "Chairwoman Mu, it's not about what I want anymore. Looks like I'm getting blacklisted in the industry." "Blacklisted? By who? Your ex-boss Luciana?" "Yeah, why?" Diana sounded genuinely confused. She'd already done a deep dive on me multiple times. If I had made some major professional error worthy of blacklisting, there was no way she wouldn't know. "I don't really know. She just showed up at my current company today, and I got fired. Guess she just doesn't like me." Diana went quiet for a second, then asked. "I wasn't planning to ask anything personal, but now I have to. Did this happen because you broke up with Luciana?" I was a little surprised. How did she know about that? "Don't worry," she added casually. "I work in internet tech. Big data sees everything. Our company is way stronger than Luciana's anyway. She doesn't have any sway here. So, you coming or not?" Turns out, I gambled right. Diana sent over the offer on the spot. I rushed home, packed my things, and booked the earliest flight back to the capital. By that afternoon, I was at Diana's company, paperwork signed, onboarding done. I joined directly as a senior engineer, and once this current project wrapped up smoothly, I'd be promoted to expert engineer, and as luck would have it, this project was the same side gig I'd been freelancing on. The next morning, I joined the team for our first group session. Before I arrived, Diana had already introduced me to the rest of the group. After the morning meeting, my teammates immediately swarmed me with greetings. "No way, the legend himself, Chairwoman Mu finally poached you." "Huh? Bro, I go by Falcon online. We finally met in person." The team was incredibly friendly, and the vibe here totally caught me off guard. Thinking back to what I went through before, and looking at what I have now. Damn, I'd been living like crap. That afternoon, Diana called me to her office. Luciana had shown up. As I stepped in, I saw the atmosphere was already tense, like a standoff. I couldn't help but feel a little confused. Sure, it wasn't strange for the two of them to know each other, but for them to openly drop all pretenses just because Diana hired me, that felt extreme. Diana glanced up at me, then turned to Luciana with biting sarcasm. "Took me ages to recruit him. Luciana, you showing up now to poach him? Forget it. I'm not wasting my breath arguing, but if you trash my office, I'll send you the bill." She stood up and left the office to me and Luciana. As she passed by, she leaned in slightly and whispered, "Benjamin, let me tell you something. Luciana and I, our grudge goes way back, all the way to childhood. As for you, I genuinely believe in your abilities." I gave a small nod, letting her know I understood. Inside the office, it was just Luciana and me. She bit her lip, visibly annoyed. "Benjamin, what exactly do you want? Can you stop making a scene already? When did you and Diana get this close?" My face stayed cold as ever. I let out a scoff. "People aim higher. I wanted a better job and a better salary, so I switched companies. Isn't that obvious? Besides, didn't I clear the way for you and Bruno? That was the point, right?" Luciana clenched her fists, clearly frustrated. She let out a sigh, her voice softening like she was giving in. "Fine, I get it. I know what you want. I'll reduce contact with Bruno. No, with Assistant Wu. I'll even move him to a different department. Just stop making a fuss and come home with me." I stepped closer, pulled out my phone, tapped a few times, then turned the screen toward her. It showed Bruno's social media feed. So many sweet memories. "You really ready to let all this go?" Luciana glanced at the screen. Instantly, her face turned pale. Her eyes darted away, clearly guilty. I scrolled down. "Look, can't even get to the bottom of the feed," she muttered under her breath. "I told Bruno to block you from seeing those." Then she quickly tried to explain, in a much gentler tone. "I know, you've been wronged lately. How about this? Come home with me, and I'll make everything right. I'll announce our relationship publicly at the company. Promotion, raise. I'll give it all to you. How does vice president sound?" I raised an eyebrow, giving her a slow, deliberate look. "Here, every coworker sees my skills. Every superior sees my value. Luciana, do you have any idea how long Chairwoman Mu's been trying to recruit me? 8 months. Even after I rejected her multiple times, she still offered me freelance gigs. I asked her once, was it really worth it? She said, "You have the ability, so you're worth it. You gave me empty promises for 10 years and I got nothing. But Chairwoman Mu gave me real benefits in just 8 months. If Bruno had even half my ability, you wouldn't be here right now, Luciana blurted out, without a moment's hesitation. No, I would still be here. We've been together for 10 years. I love you. Look, I'll fire Bruno right now, I swear. I'll cut all ties with him. Let's go register our marriage today. I even have our IDs and household book with me. She clutched my arm tightly, words spilling out in a rush. All I felt was disgust. I pried her hand off and said, slowly and clearly, is it love, or is it just habit? Do you even know the difference? You're just missing someone to do things for you, someone to take care of you, a butler, a caretaker, not a partner. Bruno's nothing. There'll be plenty of other guys for you to mess around with. Cheating doesn't just happen once, it happens endlessly. Luciana, you never loved me. Her face went ghostly pale, her lips trembled, but she couldn't get out a full sentence. Benjamin, it's not like that. Please believe me, nothing happened between me and him. I stepped back, shook my head. You still think whether you slept together matters? The only thing that matters is this. We broke up. We have no relationship anymore, and if you really need to call it something, then we're rivals now. And Luciana, I genuinely hope you get the chance to go head-to-head with us someday. Tears rolled silently down Luciana's cheeks as she stared at me in disbelief. Without another word, I turned and walked out of the office, leaving her there to cry alone. In the break room, Diana was smoking by the window. She offered me a cigarette and asked. Watching her cry like that, pretty satisfying. But all that aside, Benjamin, I want you to stay focused. Don't let personal matters get in the way of your work performance. Chairwoman Mu, do I look like a man who hasn't moved on? If there's no love, no emotional traps. If there's no feelings, there's no leverage. So, what do you say? Will this nobody be a CEO a year from now? Absolutely. Sunlight streamed through the break room windows, casting radiant, colorful light across the room, warm and gentle, not blinding. From now on, every day of my life would be just like this, bright and full of light.